Bishop with you, but first we head right to the podium for Browns defensive coordinator Joe Woods.
You're down.
Sunday against Mahomes was
Yeah.
to not let anybody get behind you.
Right.
Play off.
Mhm.
Is that hard to convince those cornerbacks?
No, there's a mixture, and they know that based on calls. We had several calls, but when you play against those guys, you definitely want to keep a lid on the defense, but you do it different ways. When you have opportunities to get tight, that's when you have to cash in and make plays to get off the field.
Joe, you guys got home when you needed to late to get the ball back.
Yeah.
Did you like the pressure most of the day, though? Did you guys feel like you influenced Patrick enough?
You know, as a unit, we were a little bit off just in terms of our consistency. They did a few things scheme-wise that hurt us based on what I called, and then there was a couple times where we just didn't execute as well as I would like us to execute. And it all came down to getting off the field on third down and getting takeaways, and we didn't do that.
Kind of following up on Tony's question, would you say you're probably more conservative against Kansas City than you normally would be?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think there's a certain way that we would like to play them. You know, some teams may be a little bit different, but you just want to limit the explosive plays to their playmakers, and then you have to pick and choose when you want to get aggressive to get after them.
Well, what about Kansas City versus every other team in the league? You know what I mean? Because they're so potent.
Yeah, no, they're explosive. They're different. I mean, there's a few teams out there that are like that, but against those guys, and I coached against them quite a few times, you just can't give up explosive plays. You have to make them work the ball down the field, and then when you have opportunities to make plays, to pressure those guys, you have to capitalize, and we just didn't do that.
Does that off philosophy also pertain to Kelsey? It seems he's always got the free release. Is there a schematic reason for that?
You can't cover them all. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weapons out there. So you have to, again, when you game plan, there are certain calls that take away certain things they do, but there may be some guys that get some one-on-ones. And this is part of the game. But when you play a team that has so many weapons across the board, you just have to be very selective when you choose to double somebody.
And it would seem to be a natural letdown to a defensive unit having played Kansas City one week and now you're on the Texans.
Yeah.
But they're so different offensively. Does that help capture the attention of the team?
There's definitely no letdown. You know, this is the NFL, so every week, man, is a different challenge. And these guys, they won the first game, so they're flying high. They're believing what they're doing. They're a very physical team. You know, they want to run the ball, establish the run, really win the time of possession. So schematically, when you look at them, it's not as complex in terms of the number of plays and the different type of plays as maybe a KC, but they do a really good job packaging their run game and their pass game together and making it all work.
So the linebackers grade out. There's a report that Reuben Foster is going to work out here. So are you happy with everything you got there?
Yeah, I have no idea, you know, on that. But no, I'm fine at the linebacker position. This, you know, with us, it's the first game out. We wanted to play better. We wish we would have came away with the win, but we know we'll get better each and every week.
You know, you had a lot of things going on. Harrison gets kicked out of the game. Johnson goes out with cramps. How do you deal with that in that kind of a game?
You just move on. When stuff like that happens, you can't worry about it. You just got to make the substitution, and you're aware of it, but you got to continue to make your calls.
The broken play to Tyreek Hill, where's the cornerback in that? I mean, has he got a different assignment?
Yeah, it was an empty formation, so we were in a certain empty adjustment, and we had it covered. We kind of adjusted it during the game, so we had everything covered, but, you know, Mahomes did a great job just staying alive, and, you know, you saw the throw, he threw it up there, and they just came down. You know, at the end of the day, they made more plays than we made, you know, especially in critical situations.
And at the end of that play, is Johnson supposed to be on him?
Yes, yeah. Within that scheme we were running.
Joe, this will be the first time you've heard a Browns crowd at full throat. How much are you looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. It was pretty good when we was over there in the preseason. So I think it was 44,000, something like that. You know, and then we had the scrimmage. So definitely looking forward to it. I know this is a fan base that's growing up in Pennsylvania, that they live and die by what happens on Sunday. So we definitely want to make them happy.
Joe, what kind of conversation have you had with Ronnie and
Does he just kind of go back in there at safety for you guys this Sunday?
Yeah, Ronnie's fine. We really don't condone that type of behavior, and we want to be composed in those situations. And when the game's going, things get heated, and we just want to make the best decisions. Unfortunately for Ronnie, he got ejected from the game, but I'm sure he'll learn from that. Our whole defense will learn for that. Our whole team will learn for that, and hopefully that doesn't happen again.
You have, trust and faith to put him back out there, and he'll be all right for you.
Absolutely.
Are you liking what you're seeing out of Delpit this week?
Yeah, he's out there, and he's been going through individual, but he had really his first live team reps. So he's looking good. He's figuring things out, and hopefully we get him in the game and get him a few plays.
Joe, going back to the Ronnie thing, on the other side of it, do you talk to your assistant coaches and kind of say, hey, we don't put our hands on opposing players? Is there a message for them? Kind of in light of
that's just known. That's just part of what we do. We want to do things the way they're supposed to be done. And, I don't want to comment on anything that happened on their sideline. I wasn't over there. But, no, we don't talk about that. That's just something that we wouldn't do.
How'd JOK do, and do you expect to ramp him up more? Is there more of a role he has?
Yeah, we're constantly trying to do that. But at the same time, not give them too much. You always want your players to be able to play fast. And that's them understanding their assignments, being able to process that on game day. So we're going to keep adding a little bit to them each week, but at the same time, I'm trying to be careful and not doing too much with them.
How do you think Greg look?
Greg looked good. He didn't get a lot of opportunities coming his way, but the confidence was there. You can see where he was challenging guys on certain plays. So every week, I think that's just going to help build what he's able to do on the football field for us.
And with that biceps, does it look like he's going to be okay?
Yeah, he'll be fine from what I know.
Another debut for you guys is Clowney. Obviously not a rookie, but
oh yeah,
he was dealing with the illness, kind of a weird week. How do you show up Sunday for you guys, though?
I think everybody, there were moments when they did some really good things and you saw them flash, and there were some moments where maybe we were off a little bit inconsistent. And I could say that about the whole unit. Even us as coaches, man, that first game out there, everything, the crowd was going crazy. I think the whole operation, how the guys perform, will get better. But long story short, he did some good things, but I know he can play better.
Has he got a little extra going for Texans week? Anything that you detected?
I didn't ask him. He didn't say anything, but I'm sure he probably does.
Does he look different in a game as opposed to practice?
No, he looks the same. Now he's very explosive, slippery on blocks, very strong, very strong. So you saw that show up on Sunday.
That was Malik McDowell's first game too. Was it cool to see him make that tackle for loss
on the first play? Yeah, first play since he's played in 5 years. I'm excited for him. He played really well in that first game. You could see just how dominant he can be inside, and he's still learning. So I hope he continues to play that way. This really helps us, especially on the inside of the defense.
I mean, what did he have to show you in training camp and preseason to go to a guy that you would trust to start and play that many snaps?
I think just his understanding of what we were trying to do defensively, just because he hasn't played in so long, and then you're trying to see how is he physically, how does he respond to being in an adverse situation, the pressure of a game, and he responded well. So
Did you
I'm
know
excited
anything about him before he came here? I mean, you could have been involved in looking at him for the draft and then in 2017. Did you know anything about him?
It was quite a few years ago, but my wife's actually from Michigan, so she's a Michigan fan. So always had that Michigan State thing going. But I'm aware of him as a player when he came out. I know he was one of the top 2 defensive linemen when I think in 17 when he got drafted. So I was aware of him. I lost track of him over the years, but I'm glad he's back.
So is him and Miles?
What's that?
Is him and Miles?
What's that?
Top 2 defensive linemen in that class?
I'm not sure who the first guy that came out. I think it was.
Well, that was when Miles drafted Miles.
Yeah.
Ogunjobi was in that draft.
Yeah. Maybe it was somebody else, but I remember he was considered one of the top defensive linemen coming out.
I thought you were saying it was like him and Miles.
Oh, no.
Good.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank
That's it. All right. We'll see you. Wait.
Sunday. You guys are up.
We're all counting on you. I'm counting on you too.
You guys ready? You guys ready?
I can look at. Yeah, we're ready.
You're up.
All right, that was Browns defensive coordinator Joe Woods at the podium there, answering some interesting questions from the media there and giving some good insight into the Browns' defensive game plan against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm going to look at it, Gibbe. Can you pull up the 2017 draft real quick, Gibbe? I'm pretty sure DeForest Buckner, I want to say, went 6th. I could be wrong. Somebody to the Niners, though, I think may have been the other interior defensive lineman that he was talking about when he was referencing there. Malik McDowell was the top 2 interior defensive linemen in that class. And I think, a lot of people, we've seen Dane Brugler talk about him as a top 5 talent. Well, Malik, pretty incredible story. His first ever NFL snap 4 years after he was drafted is a tackle for loss against the Chiefs.
2017?
Yeah.
I don't think you've got the right year.
No, was it Miles 1?
Yeah. Malik was in this.
What were the top?
35.
Who were the top 10 picks? Who did the Niners pick?
Miles, Trubisky, Solomon Thomas.
That's the answer. Solomon Thomas. I knew the Niners picked a defensive lineman right there. So he's saying Solomon Thomas and Malik McDowell were the top 2 interior defensive linemen in that draft. So that's what it is. Yeah, I'd say go ahead. When we come back, Beau Bishop joins the program. The Big B's back together. All coming up next here on Cleveland Browns. No Gibbe? No? Daily.